Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video called Retreat is an Option. And this doesn't just work for D&D, it works for a number of other games as well. Pretty much any game, any role-playing game. This is an advice video for players and dungeon masters. It's just something to think about. I have witnessed over my 47-year gaming career that many people, players and game masters alike, simply run their characters headlong into battle with no regard for their character's well-being or survival. For example, my friend David refused to run away when he had taken massive amounts of damage. When he'd reached less than 10% of his hit points, he continued striving to the last. Then, of course, he complained when he died. He was playing in my game. He complained when he died. My friend Greg ran an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game, and his villain cornered our group, forcing us to fight his evil paladin. In one single round, 4 of us rolled critical strikes. The bad guy lost an arm, an eye, and a leg, as well as over 60% of his hit points. Yet the villain continued to fight. After he died, I asked why he continued, and Greg had no answer. The villain had a necklace of teleportation. He could have left any damn time he wanted to. The battle lasted multiple rounds. That evil paladin should have retreated. He did not. In both of these examples, any intelligent being should have withdrawn. As a player, you must judge the circumstances, the strategic and tactical consequences of staying or running, and the individual personality traits of your character. Now, there are some characters who just want to fight, and you know, they don't know when to retreat. And you know, if that's the character you're running, that's cool. But you know, keep in mind, even Conan knew when to run away. I remember one specific story where a battle had gone against him, and he ended up crawling through a swamp for several days just to escape. There's a number of questions that you need to ask yourself in a combat situation, and it works for players and dungeon masters. One, is the withdrawal feasible? Can you make an escape with a reasonable chance of success? Is there a place to withdraw to? 2, is the fight necessary? If you're fighting just to fight, then the fight's not necessary. If you're fighting to prove a point, it's questionable. If it's a fight that will keep the mission alive or will overthrow the evil king or whatever, there, you know, it may very well be necessary, and heavy casualties may be encountered, but you have to judge that. Is the fight necessary? Is there a reasonable chance of success? If you continue, do you have at least a 50-50 chance of success? Because if the odds are against you succeeding, it won't matter if you continue to fight or not. You can either withdraw and lose the fight and save your forces, or you can continue to fight with a 50-50 chance of success. You know, maybe, maybe not, because if you lose, you still lost, but you lost all the forces as well, all of your troops. You see what I'm saying? Will the mission fail if you retreat? Usually in D&D, you're on a quest, or you're on a mission or whatever, and if you succeed at this one battle, is it instrumental in the quest, in the outcome? Can you still succeed if you retreat? You see what I mean? Will the mission fail if you retreat? Number 5, if you retreat, will the enemy be able to pursue you? Because sometimes retreat is not an option in that instance. You have to make it so that the enemy cannot follow you. Okay? Can you possibly return later with better plans, better gear, better personnel, more personnel, with a better chance for victory? That's a possibility. Sometimes you retreat to fight another day. You run away and then grab better stuff and be better prepared and then come and do it again. What are your chances? Here's the big one. What are your chances of survival? Because the best D&D character in the world who's wasted on a failed attack is just another statistical number. If you can't survive the battle, why are you fighting it? Unless it's forced upon you. You see what I'm saying? In military terms, these questions and questions like these are called... There's a term in military, mission versus something. I forget what it's called. In essence, it's the cost. Is the cost worth the gain? Military commanders have to weigh this question with every decision they make. I have a book called Military Ethics, and it talks about that. Mission over survivability, I think it's called, something like that. But anyway, military commanders in real life have to weigh these questions with every decision they make. As a dungeon master, your villains have to ask these same questions. Furthermore, the dungeon master has to judge individual villains by their personality and morale. Is the gain worth the risk? Most bandits, for example, want gold that the PCs are carrying. If half the bandits are down and the rest are severely injured, there's a good chance they should retreat. You know what I'm saying? Kind of live to fight another day, or in this case, live to steal another day. More vested villains, like the evil paladins, the evil wizards, traitorous dukes, or their hired henchmen, their major henchmen, will weigh the questions above with much more judiciously. None of them will even show up, much less take any risks, unless the outcome is assured, or unless there's no danger. Survival is their ultimate goal. If the evil wizard employing the bandits takes a hit, say 20% of his hit points, there's a pretty good chance he'll flee, unless the battle and outcome are seriously necessary for the advancement of his plans. Major villains employ henchmen for a reason. They're expendable. As a dungeon master, if your major henchman is taking serious damage, I'm not talking about your major villain, I'm talking about the main guy that works for him, the major henchman. If he's taking serious damage, you have to weigh his loyalty. Mercenaries fight for gold. They generally don't fight for the cause. Honorable people who swear an oath of allegiance, regardless of their alignment, will fight to the death. Less honorable people who swear an oath will not hold that oath in such high regard. They won't be nearly as inviolate. They value their own survival over their honor. And here's the other thing. This happened a lot in medieval armies. They would go around and grab a bunch of peasants and grab your farm implements and come on, you're now conscripted. Conscripts will likely flee as fight. Some of them will fall to the ground and pretend to be injured or dead or whatever, but they don't want to be there. Okay, so you have to weigh their motivations and their loyalties of all the bad guys. Now, player characters are different. They play their own character. Dungeon masters have to play a plethora of different characters. As a dungeon master, you have to play your characters as individuals. Make notes of their motives and honor as well as their personality. Play them accordingly. Now, for a dose of reality, here we go. The laws of physics have to apply in your world, otherwise magic is meaningless. Magic, by definition, violates the laws of physics. If the laws of physics don't apply, then there's no natural physical laws for magic to violate. If the laws of physics apply, then injuries are real and have consequences. Normal people who sustain grievous injuries will seek self-preservation. The evil paladin in Greg's game from the example above should have fled at the first opportunity. A few hit points is not a serious injury, but losing an arm, a leg, or an eye is a game changer, much less losing all three. This particular villain could only use one-handed weapons, had no depth perception, and was prone. He was also losing 4 hit points per round from blood loss. Because each crit, you lose a point per round. That's the way I played in my games, and Greg ran it the same way. So he had 4 critical hits in one round, so he was losing 4 hit points per round just by laying there, because he was prone, because he'd lost a leg, he was laying on the ground. He was prone. Any normal person would have fled, or in this case, teleported, because he had an amulet, I think it was a teleportation. In his predicament, sticking around to fight was just stupid. If you're in a game and your character takes a critical hit, that right there is scary. Any normal person who loses an arm in battle and can still move runs away. Any normal person who loses a leg will crawl away and seek to hide. Any normal person who loses an eye will grab their face and run away and try to flee. This is reality. Okay? I did a video about those pesky magic users, something like that, how to deal with pesky wizards or whatever. And one of the things I always do is I try to throw a spear or a missile weapon and let it stick into the wizard's chest, because it's hard to summon the will to forcibly change reality, which is what spellcasting is, when you have a length of wood sticking out of your chest. That's reality. Magic has to work hand in hand with reality. Reality has to be real. The laws of physics have to apply. Otherwise, magic is pointless. Well, because magic defies the laws of physics. If there's no laws of physics to defy, magic is meaningless. Well, those same laws of physics apply to your character when he gets hurt. If you lose an arm, you're losing blood every round. If you seriously limit your ability to fight. Most sentient beings, or even non-sentient beings, when they lose a limb, buddy, they're running. They're getting out of there. They're escaping as quickly as they can. This is, if you're not playing your character that way, you're not playing your character well. It's that simple. As I said, even Conan ran away when the odds were against him. If there was no way to succeed, it's pointless to stay and fight. At some point, you turn Mother's picture to the wall and vamoose. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. Again, I'm not trying to tell people how to play the game. I'm not trying to tell people how to run their game or how to, how they have to do things. But this particular video is a dose of reality. And again, if you're having fun doing it your way, do it. Knock yourself out. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm just trying to help. Friendly advice from an old hack wargamer. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good day now. God bless one and all. Clarissa Lowe, a historian from the future. Delmore Kane, a Civil War veteran turned outlaw. This oddball pairing faces a conspiracy of epic proportions spanning the centuries. If you like action and adventure westerns with a splash of science fiction and fantasy, check out my book series Drifters and their ongoing adventures.